for Stephen and Charles. Signs by D.O.T. Marcio. The cracks in the system have failed the child. Unspoken for a boy is lifeless proof. Years now lost despite a protest filed. Should never have been needing this soft booth. Procedure or signed sheets were put ahead for ease or rather rest from harder work. Mother's pleadings of abuse and neglect ignored, and now a casket rests in dirt. The well-seen hints of his fear left no signs. A checklist was his judge, not common sense. Perhaps if marks were left out for the blind, the faculty would check and then repent. But time has blown this over like the breeze. Unheard was he, although they did spare trees. Greetings, sisters and brothers. Welcome to Ntr Kmt, Original Cannabis Association, Shaman Cave. I am Professor R.T. Bates. On a serious note, on this video I just wanted to talk right quick about the name of the Academy and where I got the name from, the Stephen L. Mason Memorial Shiro Hero Academy, or SHA for short. So our graduates would be called SHA men or women, and we'll get into all what that means in a little bit. But first I'd like to say that, like I said, this is named after my grandnephew, Stephen L. Mason, who was murdered some years ago, many years ago, in the early 80s. And but he wasn't alone. He was 8 years old, and he was with his 5-year-old younger brother. The Academy is named after him. He was my grandnephew, and it comes from a promise that I made to his father, my nephew, after Stephen was murdered. And I made that promise because that incident was the worst thing I've ever felt in my life before or since. Personally speaking, this family, my family, is pretty lucky when it comes to death. Most of the people in my family lived to a pretty good age. A few died rather young. But as I said, Stephen was only 8 years old. I really didn't get a chance to know him myself because besides him only being here 8 years, myself, I was busy running around the world doing whatever I was doing. But still in all, he was family, and like I said, I can't imagine a worse feeling having a child, any child, but especially one in your family, murdered in the way he was. So this is why I'm naming it the Stephen L. Mason Academy. But it's, like I said, his brother Stephen was also there, so it's about children, period. It's about our children. Because I've taught in various states. I've taught here in New York, in Virginia, in Georgia, and now in California. And I've come back to New York, and people still asking the same questions after 30 years of me teaching. What's wrong with our children? Well, first of all, we don't have our rites of passage like we used to before all this slavery and all that type of stuff. Young boys and young ladies would have to go to what's called a rites of passage, where they would learn how to become men and women. Not just learn, but learn the you know, some of the things that they should do as men and women. So I developed this rites of passage so we can go back. This is called Sankofa, rites of passage. Sankofa means to look back or to go back to where you came from and take something from your past, bring it to the present, and you know, something that will do good for you in the present. So I'm going back and invoking the name of my grandnephew Stephen. I'm going back to our roots and reinstituting a rites of passage. But this is a special rites of passage. And it's the Hero Academy rites of passage because we need sheroes and heroes now. What else do we need? We've waited for this man to come from the sky, from the clouds, for centuries now. You understand? A couple of centuries and a half maybe. There's no more waiting. It is time to take things into our own hands. Teach and train our own children and youth. So the Stephen Wright's Hero Academy will train what we call sheroes and heroes. In other words, for 9 months, they will come down to our secret hideout because we're sheroes and heroes. We don't want people to know where we're training at. And for that 9 months, they're going to learn martial arts. They're going to learn first aid, CPR, disaster preparedness, how to grow food. These types of things that our people need to know, not only to survive. We've been surviving already. We need to know how to thrive. If you're going to stay here in the city, these sheroes and heroes will come back, and they will come back men and women, and they will come back with knowledge and skills to protect their neighborhoods. They'll come back to their neighborhoods, protect their neighborhoods, teach the people how to, like I said, become self-sufficient, not only survive, but thrive. And a lot of this has to do with hemp, as I've been saying on other videos, hemp and of course the holy herb, marijuana and all that. But for the most part, that is where I get the name from. That is the basis for this academy. Because I could just go ahead and teach Tai Chi by myself and I don't have to do all this stuff. But it's coming from here. You understand? First of all, I gave my word. So even if I didn't want to do it, I gave my word. You understand? I gave my word to myself that I would get land and grow food and become self-sufficient, not for just for me, for my family. But they're not interested in that, so it's for my people. If they come along later, fine. If they don't, fine. But I wanted to do this in the name of my grandnephew, Stephen Larry Mason. And it's coming together. We have property, 20 acres in the south to start. It's raw land. So the first of you sheroes and heroes who come down, we're gonna be doing a little work. We're not building a whole lot. There's not gonna be a whole lot of clearing. We're not cutting down all the trees and all that. Just enough space to set up our domes, etc., etc. See the plan? I'll post the plan on here. It's a simple plan. We're starting an organization called the Tao of Hemp Collective. The membership fees from this collective will help pay for the training of the Shiro Hero Academy. Simple. So that's it. Hey, Tep, peace in the mind, peace in the heart. Because we're about to come on some trying times here in America. And without training, without rites of passage, without knowing your spirituality, you're not going to be able to deal with what's about to come down on all of us. That's what this is about. We can use a little help here at the Academy. Where y'all at? Hey, Tep. Peace.